The Last Symptom has a really nice online community of like-minded people who are working on the same types of things. And it's located on the Locals platform. That's Locals. If you'd like to join our community, we'd love to have you there. The way you do it is you visit thelastsymptom.locals.com. And like I say, we're looking forward to seeing you there and getting into some good conversations. You share posts there, videos, live chats. There's all sorts of things. One thing we've been doing here recently is we've started this new tradition of having Unhealthy Memes Monday. So on Mondays, we will share memes that we found on the internet that present themselves as beautiful or nice, and we analyze exactly why that meme or those memes are particularly very unhealthy. It's turned into a really nice exercise, and folks are having a good time with it. Of course, on Fridays, we do Comfort Food Friday and also Forecast Friday. So we share the forecast that each of us are experiencing in our neck of the woods or neck of the world. And or we share some an image or a recipe of our favorite comfort foods. And so it's not all business. We do have a lot of fun. One conversation we had there on the Last Symptom community recently was a conversation about, are you ashamed of being normal? In that post, I talked about how one enormous breakthrough for me in my authentic recovery from borderline personality disorder was this shift in perspective that I made from believing that I should have no human flaws or tendencies. It really used to be my way of living, was that any flaw that I could perceive in myself had to be eliminated or pretended away mostly. Because there are flaws that you have as a person. All people have flaws. And so most of the flaws that I was so hard on myself about, I would just pretend away, because there was no fixing flaws that can be attributed simply to the human condition, right? So I just pretend them away. And it wasn't just like physical flaws. I'm talking about behavioral flaws, weaknesses about myself, and those sorts of things. But I went from believing I shouldn't have none of those to then embracing many of those flaws and embracing them as amusing and natural to being a human being. I began to kind of celebrate them, to be honest with you. And I'm not talking about things that can and must be fixed. I'm talking about things that are just part of the natural human condition, that just make me human. So instead of me insisting that I be some kind of superhuman above other people, I begin to take comfort and accept that I'm just a normal person with normal flaws, with normal tendencies, and those sorts of things. Think about sex, for example. Some of your sexual fantasies and stuff like that. How ashamed would you be if somebody knew some of your secret sexual fantasies? But what if you begin to accept that you're not the only person that has the fantasies like that? I mean, there are books that sell millions of copies and movies that rake in millions of dollars based on fantasies like that. And why do these movies and books do so well? Because there's a whole lot of people out there daydreaming about the same stuff, right? But that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. That used to be, it would have shamed me, and I would have thought, no, I need to be above that. I need to be better than that. And I went from that to, well, it's kind of normal. It's kind of normal. I'm not the only person thinking that way or desiring that and those sorts of things. So this meant that things that I would have once felt intense shame for and that other people could weaponize against me to shame me no longer had any power over me. You see that? Once I stopped viewing myself as somebody who should be superhuman And I let go of that big lie, and I begin to accept that I'm a normal person. That as a human being, if I want to be accepted as a human being, that means being accepted for the tendencies and the flaws of a human being. And as soon as I accepted it as being natural to being a human being, it meant that I no longer had to feel ashamed about it. And because I no longer felt ashamed about it, other people couldn't weaponize it against me anymore.